I didn't plan to spend $2,200 that morning. I went to the auction for the same reason I always do. Half curiosity, half hoping lightning will strike. Most of the time, it doesn't. Most of the time you get tax records, busted TVs, and the strange sadness of someone's life folded into cardboard. But every now and then, something hums in your gut and says, pay attention. That feeling hit me at Unit C19. The preview photo was nothing, a sliver of gray tarp, a pile of plastic bins, an old rolling tool chest. But in person, the scene was different. The door had a gap at the bottom where dust had blown in for years, and there were faint tracks, curved, low, etched into the grime like a memory of wheels. When the auctioneer cracked the door a foot for inspection, the light knife edged across a surface that wasn't rust or wood. It was smooth, slick, almost liquid. Paint, maybe, or something else. Bidding started at $300. A couple regulars, Terry with the cowboy hat, Denise with the clipboard, nudged it to $850. Then it slowed. The out-of-town guy in the aviators passed. The local reseller shook his head. It felt like the room was holding its breath. I heard myself say, 2,000, surprising even me. A few heads snapped in my direction. After a long cough of silence, the auctioneer shrugged and called it, sold for $2,200 to number 91. The lock cutter snapped, the door rattled up, and the smell rolled out, dust, rubber, the metallic tang of a place that once had oil and electricity and breath in it. My flashlight swept over bins, a crooked shelving unit, the tool chest. Then it hit the tarp again and froze. Beneath the gray sheet was a shape with intent, razor-low nose, flared shoulders, tucked waist. Not a sedan, not a motorcycle, something born for speed. I grabbed a corner. The tarp didn't so much lift as release, sliding off with the soft hiss of fabric over glass. Underneath was a car. No, not a car. A statement, finished in a deep graphite, that gulped the light instead of reflecting it. The front end was a wedge that morphed into smooth, organic curves, punctured by precise vents. Even if you've seen 100 supercars, this one looked like a rumor-made steel. There were no badges, no prancing horse, no raging bull, no lightning bolt. Just a single laser-etched mark on the nose, a small hexagon with a diagonal slash. Not a brand I knew. The wheels were center locks with carbon ceramic discs big enough to bake a pizza on. The side mirrors weren't mirrors at all, tiny fins with lenses. Cameras. I leaned in toward the glass canopy. The interior was stripped minimalist to sculpted seats, a yoke-style steering wheel, and a dash that was more screen than dash, currently dark. A tidy bundle of braided lines led to a drive selector that didn't look mechanical. It looked digital. Behind me, someone whistled low. It was Martin, the storage manager. What is that? I don't know, I said, honest and breathless. We spent the first hour excavating. Under the shelving unit we found 3 crates, one full of precision machined brackets, one of sealed pouches labeled, thermal interface, keep refrigerated, whoops, and one of long, wafer-thin panels with copper traces, PCB blanks. Next to the tool chest lay a Pelican case with a sticker, Helion Vehicle Systems, Prototype 03, property of HVS. Helion, I'd heard the name once in a podcast about the little of startup that almost made it. They'd promised a hybrid electric supercar with a solid-state battery pack and aerospace cooling. Went dark 5 years ago. Lawsuits. Investors vanished. Journalists moved on. The Pelican case's latches resisted, then snapped. Inside, a tablet the size of a hardcover, wrapped in anti-static film, and a nervous-making key fob, matte black with the same hexagon and slash logo. There were also 2 RFID cards, a coiled charging cable with an industrial connector I'd never seen, and a laminated quick-start sheet that read like a dare. Martin cleared his throat. Is this the part where I call someone? You already did, I said lightly. You called me? He snorted, but his eyes stayed glued to the car. The tablet booted after a long pause, showing a Logan screen with a Helion splash. I tapped guest, no password prompt, then vehicle. A simplified wireframe of the car appeared with colored zones, battery, blue, thermal, green, drive, amber. All showed standby. At the bottom, Prototype 03, Nova platform, 17% SOC. 17%. The pack still had charge. I stared at the fob. You've seen these moments in movies. You know it's a bad idea and you do it anyway. I pressed the button. The car didn't roar, it woke. Something far forward and low hummed like distant bees. The dash glowed, the canopy glass shifted tint, and the tablet chirped, thermal loop priming. Please wait. Should you be doing that? Martin whispered. No, I said, grinning. Absolutely not. The status lights marched from amber to green. The platform name at the bottom pulsed, an OVAE03 ready. On the yoke, a small selector fluttered from P to N to D. My thumb hovered, then thought better. There was a reason the rollers under the rear wheels had deep grooves in them. Somebody had run this thing in place before. Instead, I explored the tablet. Subminus showed test cycles, data logs, dates. The newest log was from 4 years ago, labeled Thermal Stress plus Regan E. Conf. There was a note, do not exceed 06G sustained. Observe pack temps at 5358 C. Then another, a week later, legal advises pause until Ulsignyov. Move P03 to secure storage. The last line, in a different hand, or just move it. Trust no one. I felt something cold and electric crawl up my spine. We powered the car back down. I took 100 photos. Then I slid the fob and tablet back into the case and locked it. By late afternoon, the crowd had thinned to nothing. It was just me, the car, and a litany of questions. Who put it here? Why wasn't it with Helion's assets when they folded? Did anyone else know it survived? I texted a friend who knows everyone in the EV world. Ever heard of Helion Nova? He replied fast, ghost story. Investors sunk 9 figures. Tech worked on a bench. Never scaled. People still fight about who killed it. I sent him a single photo of the Hex logo. 3 dots. Then, where are you? Then, don't post. Call me. I didn't call. Not yet. First I had to get the car somewhere safe. That night, under a moon the color of steel, we winked prototype 03 into a covered transporter. The driver, a friend of a friend who moves, Art, didn't ask questions. Address? Not home, I said. A place with a concrete floor, a big breaker panel, and no curious neighbors. We took it to a rented workshop 2 towns over with a roll-up door and the kind of dust no one pays to clean. The car looked like a spaceship parked in a barn. The next morning, I went back to the tablet. There was an O-Power menu with a dongle diagram. In the 3rd crate we found the dongle, a weird adapter that bridged Helion's industrial connector to a standard 240V EVSE plug. I wired a temporary 240V outlet with the respect you give a sleeping alligator, and plugged it in. The tablet dinged. Charging limited. Safe mode, 3.2 kW. A little blue bar crept right. Charging. While it sipped, I dug through the bins. Under a tangle of bungee cords was a slim, sealed envelope addressed to a cross. The Helion CTO, according to the tablet's about screen. No stamp, no address. Inside was a single page. If you're reading this, we were right about the pack but wrong about trust. Legal wants the IP. Investors want the headlines. We wanted the car. P03 is the last honest version, the one before compromises. It's yours if you can keep it breathing. Don't bring it back to the campus. Too many eyes. Too many knives. At the bottom, a hand-drawn hexagon and slash. The car wasn't just a prototype. It was an escape pod from a company implosion, and somehow it landed in my $2,200 storage unit. At 34% state of charge, the dash popped up a new option, System Health Run, Static. A checklist scrolled by, cooling fans, okay. Pump up, B, okay. Inverter, okay. Rear motor sensors, okay. There was no front motor. The Nova platform, at least in P03, was a single motor rear drive monster. The torque readout meter, a vertical bar on the left, had ridiculous numbers to the top, grayed out. I toggled static run. The rear wheels twitched, then spun up to a purr that crescendoed into a turbine-like keen before settling. No drama, no flames, just calm, lethal competence. I killed it again, and let my hands stop shaking. By lunch, my friend, Leah, was knocking on the shop door. She took one look at the car, and exhaled a word I won't print. You actually found it. She walked around the Nova twice, crouched by the diffuser, traced a cooling duct with a fingered up. We all heard stories. That Helion built a pack that could dump and soak heat like nothing else, and an inverter that sipped losses instead of gulping them. What we never heard was that a whole car made it this far. I showed her the tablet, the logs, the letter. She read in silence. M is Mira, she said finally. Lead systems. Genius. Vanished after the shutdown. People said she moved to aerospace. Leah looked at me. You know there are at least 3 groups who would want this. The IP vultures, the collector crowd, and the startup necromancers, who think they can resurrect dead companies for fun and profit. If any of them find out, your door's going to get very popular. As if summoned by the word door, there was a muffled thud near the back of the shop. We froze. Another thud, softer. I flicked off the overheads. The Nova became a dark animal shape in the gloom. Leah pointed to the side door. I opened it fast and wide. Empty alley, heat shimmering, a plastic trash bin tipped by wind. My heart took a minute to return. Paranoid much? Leah teased, but her shoulders didn't drop.